Do you have multiple weddings in a weekend? Don't worry, this is how you can prep, survive, and deliver without losing your mind. In this video, I'm going to cover everything we do on a multiple wedding weekend, everything from the day before to the day of on the wedding, how to prep that morning of, and the routine we have when we come back home from the wedding to prep for the next day. This will be your roadmap for doing multiple weddings in one weekend. First step I want to cover is rest. I know this isn't a super exciting tip or anything super juicy, but I promise you, if you rest the day before a multiple wedding weekend, you're gonna feel way better. This is one thing I didn't feel super great about, like taking a day off of work, like taking Thursday off if you have a Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend, and just like resting, walking, like just anything you can do to prep your mind, maybe reading some books, and just getting focused for the wedding weekend. This helps us go into the wedding weekend feeling energized and recharged, and you owe it to your clients to really rest before the weekend too, because you want to show up 100% and not at like 20%. The only thing that I will do the day before a wedding as far as work is charging and packing, and this is the next thing. The day before your weddings, I want you to charge everything in the morning, plug it all in, and then pack it all. And so make sure it's all ready so that when you wake up for your wedding day, all you have to do is just get in the car and drive. So I don't want you to have to mess with like finding everything, where's everything at? Just charge everything in the morning of the day before and then pack it all. And that takes us to our next step, which is organization. This step is something that I'm literally working on right now, and that is having an organized wall charging spot. I'm working on right now and putting this in together because before everything just sat on the floor and it was a disaster, and that's definitely one thing we learned from last year, like, hey, let's clean this up and organize it, especially when we have like 3 weddings in a row. That way I'm not like plugging everything on the floor and it looks like a disaster, and that just like stresses my mind out. I want everything to feel really smooth, and so we're putting on this wall control pegboard where we have all of our chargers plugged in, everything from our lights to our camera batteries to any other AA or AAA batteries, and everything is on one wall. So when I come home from a wedding, I'm gonna put everything on that wall, and then it's not gonna be spread out across the floor everywhere. The other step of organization is having a nice box or bag for your gear. Especially if you're photo and video, you're gonna have a ton of gear. And this is one thing that we didn't do for the longest time. I would literally just stuff everything into this one bag, and the bag wasn't even that big, and then I'd have like an extra bag. And then as we gathered more stuff like lights and stuff, then I put everything into a suitcase, and we literally rolled a suitcase to a wedding, and inside the suitcase was just everything thrown in there. That was a disaster. So now we have a Pelican case, a giant one. It's this number. I don't know what I can't remember what it is, but it's this number here. And I can fit all of our stuff in it almost. So now all the cameras that we take, all the batteries, all the lights, and so we have that case, and there's labels at the bottom of each square so that I know where everything goes. So that way, when you pack, it's easy and you can see you have everything, and that helps a ton because all the labels are covered up. And then when you pack, when you leave the wedding, which is a tip we'll talk about later, it's super easy. You don't have to like stress about like, where's everything at? You can just see, okay, this is all the slots are taken up, close that box up, and you can go home without stressing that you left something. So being organized, having a charging station, having an organized box is a game changer. I seriously can't emphasize enough how much the box has taken stress off from me. It took me so much time to figure out what box to get because I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much gear. We almost got 2 small boxes. We ended up going with the big box. And if you do photo and video, or even just video, or if you do photo and you just have a ton of gear, I can't recommend enough having an organized box. I don't think you understand how much you're thinking about where your gear is at. And on the wedding day, it makes everything flow really good. You can just have the box open and just pop out the lens you want, put it in its slot, and you're good to go. The next step to taking off stress off a multiple wedding weekend is having a CRM and some sort of workflow. So your CRM, this way you can have auto emails going out to all your couples the week before, like, hey, we're super pumped for your wedding, we're excited, we have everything we need, no worries. So that way you don't have to mess with like thinking like, oh, I need to text so-and-so, I need to make sure they know that we're good to go. They already know you're good to go. So that way you don't have to mess with that. Taking communication off is huge. Another big new step for us that we just started implementing is we now have our entire calendar on Motion AI, and on there you can set up a workflow. So we have a workflow for every wedding on photo and video. So Liv, my wife, has her own workflow for everything she needs to do for every wedding, as far as sending out songs for people to pick, to editing, to delivering, and then things we do after the wedding, like sending out letters and prints to them. Now we have an entire workflow, and it's so awesome because we don't have to think about what we have to do for every wedding. We can see, okay, this is the workflow, this is what we need to do for wedding A, wedding B, and that way it's all synced into our calendar. We don't have to think, okay, what do I need to do today for this wedding? It's already on there. That's been the biggest stress relief of just already knowing what we need to do. So for our CRM, we use Honeybook, and then for our calendar, workflow, organization, Motion AI is incredible. And then for perhaps the most important stage of the wedding is the backup when you get home. Make sure you back up everything before you go to sleep that night, because when you leave for the next wedding, you need to have everything backed up and not like wondering what's backed up and what's where. And that way you can just feel stress-free that you have yesterday's wedding backed up and you're working on today's wedding. And one way and one tip we have for that is bring your laptop with you, and during the reception time or if things slow down, you can start backing up then. Or if the wedding's just jam-packed throughout the whole day, go ahead and start backing up on the way home. So we bring the laptop with us, bring a little solid state drive, and that way, if we have a longer drive or even a short drive, it's starting to back up, so I have less things to mess with when I get home, and that way I'm all backed up and ready to go for tomorrow. The last section, we have a bonus tip for you guys. Our bonus tip for you is on the wedding day, the day of, the morning of, treat yourself to a treat of something that you guys like. We like to go to Starbucks in the morning. Liv loves Starbucks, I do too. And so that way you just get started off, you're happy about it, you're getting a little treat for yourself, and you're just got a little extra motivation for the day. Also, a huge tip for me, because I'm always stressing about little things that could go wrong, is I love to get there super early. So at least an hour to an hour and a half if it's a farther drive. So that way I am thinking like, okay, worst case scenario, flat tire, we can Uber there or something like that. And also when you get there early, it just gives you time to like set up, and you don't have to rush up to the couple. You can just get your things in there, set up, fill the place out. And getting there early is just like the biggest stress relief for me. I love to get there early. And then also the couple is never mad about you being there early too. So that's our bonus tip for you. So the next weekend that you have multiple weddings, or just do this for every wedding, make sure you're resting the day before. Make sure you have some organization with your charging in your box or your bag. Have a CRM and a calendar workflow set up for everything that you need to communicate with the couple and for everything you need to do for that wedding. Then make sure you're backing up everything the night of that wedding. And then the bonus tip is treat yourself on the morning of and get there early. I hope this has been a huge help for you guys for planning out your wedding weekends with multiple weddings, and subscribe down below for a virtual high five, and we'll see you next week.